Mate, I hate to start like this. We've barely begun, and honestly, it kills me. You're having a great hair day.
Wow.
I wish it wasn't
Wow.
the case. I don't like to start with that sort of outward positivity, but it's just great.
I
It's
mean,
just it's wonderful. It's the locks are luscious. There's a little curl there. Ugh.
oh, he noticed the curl. Look, I never thought this would ever happen to a guy like me.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. That's real.
I do have one nit. It's a quite different colour to your beard. Have you noticed?
You
Your
know
beard
what?
is very different.
I know. I actually noticed this last ep, and mentioned this to Lauren that my hair, it's a camera. It must be like a camera. Like, I'm not denying that I'm going grey, right?
Uh-huh.
But the way the light is hitting my hair and my beard and the camera, it's crazy that it's like so
You're in
stark
Top
the
Deck
contrast.
territory.
I literally said top. I look like Top Deck. Not in a racial way, of course.
No. The grey of your hair is it's a really sexy grey, Michael.
Whoa.
It's really deep, luscious slate grey. It's not this wispy white
What
stuff.
is happening?
I know, this is gutting for me, to be honest. I
There's
just don't like to shower compliments, but I gotta pay respect.
look. I'm appreciative. I'm highly suspicious of it.
I don't have an ulterior motive. Otherwise, I wouldn't sound so sad.
We'll see. But are you good? Are you good? How are you?
I'm doing well. I'm. It's been warm here finally. We had horrible grey, and it just when it's rainy and 13 degrees in the middle of summer, it just bummed me out. But now we've got light, and all of a sudden everyone's out, and you want to go do things. You want to be outside, and it just lifts the spirits again. So I'm in a good mood.
Did you not? I don't like. We just had a huge heat wave here. Like it got up to 49 degrees in
Yeah.
some parts of Victoria a few
Yeah.
days ago. Did you get
When you were
anything
having
like
that, we were having rain and overcast.
Oh, weird. It's like they're
Yeah.
two different places.
Yeah, but also they're probably connected. Like that weather system there was probably throwing shit out of whack.
I mean, it is.
We're not that far away in like a climate sense.
Well, it is. Adelaide. Famously, Melbourne always gets Adelaide's weather the day before, and I'm always surprised at how accurate it is because I'm not really paying attention to Adelaide weather because I don't live there anymore. My folks live there, so I can check in with them. But yeah, I mean, that 49-degree day that we had last week, Adelaide had the same thing the day before, and it is kind of wild how the weather it is connected. You feel like you're in two different parts, but it is, a system that you can track.
Yeah. Well, and carry that logic through. We're moving east, Adelaide to Melbourne, Melbourne to New Zealand. You just keep going east. Like, eventually some of this stuff blows across. Like, not always, and obviously the ocean does interfere with some of those air currents and that kind of things. But a lot of the time, you can see, as you say, the system will move across, and it hits us later again.
Yeah, and then there's things like the terrain, like mountains and stuff, can put it pretty different way. So it's a beautiful world. It's a beautiful world we got here.
Well, the tricky thing with Christchurch is we're on the other side of the mountains. So the west coast of the South Island gets rain like 200 days a year or something like that. Like, it's always raining. And we very rarely get as much because it hits the mountains and it stops. So we're in the rain shadow on the other side, basically. But yeah. So no, I'm feeling good, thank you. Fuck it, we'll do the intro. Welcome to Deep Thought, everybody. This is the podcast, and we are its hosts. Sitting through the internet with me, my friend Michael. Hello.
Kia ora.
Oh, very well done. You've been doing your research. And my name's Nick. Hello. Hey. Hi, how are you going?
I did do a bit of an accent weirdly on the kia ora.
Oh, yeah,
It was like
you gave it a crack.
kia ora.
It's better than when you arrive in Melbourne on an Air New Zealand flight and you get to the international baggage collection. There's someone there whose job it is to look at the incoming flights in the incoming countries and say the greeting to those passengers of their native tongue. And
Yes.
invariably, the Melbourne airport person always says, Kia ora. welcome to Melbourne. And everyone on the flight just twitches a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, it's
Ni hao, and welcome to Australia.
I reckon we've talked about this before, that I would prefer someone just to botch kind of a ciao bella or something, rather than overemphasize the ciao bella, Alfredo.
Yeah.
You want that. I'm saying that being a person who very much does overpronounce.
It's hard not to give it a crack. Yeah.
Yes, because you want to seem like a worldly person, and how else are you going to tell people? You can't go around showing everyone your passport.
Yeah. So. I mean, these days you don't even get a stamp. You're just walking through like a photo booth.
True. I miss the stamps. I just got back from a small travel to Sydney, so I do have a travel story for you. But did you have something you wanted to?
Well, I did. I was going to answer your question, and then I decided it was possibly longer than the pre-intro. Mm-hmm. So I'll circle back to how am I. I've had an exciting weekend. Yesterday, we headed back to Goose, our Beagle's breeder, which was about an hour out of town. So we went on a bit of a road trip, took her back to see her mum and her sister and her half-siblings, which was like 7 dogs going crazy, like Beagle frenzy.
Oh, wow. Very cute. Why did you choose to do this?
Because the breeder is a groomer. And so we wanted to have Goose cleaned and prepared for today, because you're looking at New Zealand's latest top model. We had a photo shoot today with Goose and the full family, myself included. And look, what can I say? We're models now.
Do you have the pics?
No, well, it only just happened today. They've got to do lots of processing, obviously, cropping, retouching.
When do you think you'll have the pics?
This week. We'll have them this week.
What day?
Oh, I don't know. Friday? Why?
Friday.
Why?
Well, I feel like you should have brought this up when you had the pics, but that's okay.
That's not fair.
No, it's fair. It's fair. Because I'm just trying to imagine, first of all, congratulations on the model award thing.
Yeah. Model award.
Secondly,
I think you'll find it's secondably.
Didn't really pick you guys for the kind of the dog photo shoot type of guys, but that's okay. And I'm just fascinated to know, like, this is why I really want to see these photos, because the only types of photos like that I've seen have just been completely cringy. So I'm dying to see what they turn out like.
Okay, well, you'll be the first to see him. It was a dog photographer, and it was a gift that I gave to KC for his birthday. It was a photo shoot session for her, and as part of that, they let you be in the photos if you want to be in the photos. So for the most part, 700 out of 800 photos are going to be of the dog. And then there'll be a few with us there holding her as well. Mostly, okay. I think, as hands, but sometimes as full bodies. But it was very exciting for Goose. She was very hyperactive. And I have to say, I felt like a proud stage dad watching on, because she was very well behaved. There's a lot of new smells, new people, new activities, craft table, assistant directors, flash photography, a lot of loud pumping club music to get everyone in the mode.
Wow, what a nightmare.
Jumping up on props, and she's only 18 months old, but she was very well behaved. She was very obedient. She was excited. And I think she might have caught the bug. I don't want to pressure her. I don't want to pressure her.
The bug is fleas, though, unfortunately. Oh well, yeah.
But
I was just going to say I'm really excited to see him.
Yeah, I was proud of her. I'm looking forward to seeing the photos. And here's a little bittersweet sort of ending to it. We got this voucher. Well, I got this voucher last year, November time. And sorry, September time. And then in November, got an email from the woman saying, I've actually decided to wrap up my photography business after 12 years. So I'd appreciate if you could use the voucher before April. So we booked it in and had a crack at it. And it turns out that today was her last shoot ever. So it was the grand finale. We went out on a high, and Goose was the pinnacle of the dog photography career.
So you're the lasting legacy for her.
Yeah, the crystal memory to cap off a shining career.
Yeah, and this is maybe a stretch of a connection, but I think a good one. You guys are best in show dads now. R.I.P. Kristen O'Hara, Catherine O'Hara.
Did you say Kristen?
I know. I really fucked up the moratorium.
Do you want a fresh take of that?
I don't care. I mean, Best in Show is one of the funniest underrated comedies of all time. Catherine O'Hara, one of the greats.
Sad, man. So sad.
Do we know what happened? We just know.
No, I don't think we. See, I was scanning. I was looking for people's comments from the. I became very self-conscious there just because you put up the clip of us last week, and all I could see was me just constantly stroking my beard for about 5 straight minutes. Yeah. So I got consciously.
Okay.
I forced my hand to not touch my face. Then
we'll edit it out.
I was watching the comments that came up from people who knew her, and they were all very sad, but none of them said shocked.
Okay.
Or surprised. And I got the sense that maybe, yes, there was some coverage that there was a fast moving illness, but I don't get the sense that it was a secret from those around her.
Yeah. Okay.
So I wonder if those who saw it coming, those closest saw it coming and had the time to process it a little bit, and it wasn't as surprising for the rest of us who didn't know that she'd been going through something. Because she did look very thin a couple of weeks ago when she was on a red carpet somewhere or something. Yeah. But yeah, man.
Macaulay Culkin's one was quite sweet, I thought.
Yeah. All of the Schitt's Creek ones were very sweet. But like the universal love that came out. I saw one of the obituaries that Alan Sepinwall had written for The Ringer, and he pointed out that she'd basically spent her life as a well-liked, regularly working background player, effectively, like a character actor, like that person kind of face, and then became immensely popular and famous after a full career of like 40 years when she was in her 60s, and then had this sort of golden decade at the end of it where she was popping up everywhere and, properly received icon status. Yeah. And what a nice sort of capper to a career, and just a shame that I was expecting to see her for 20 more years doing like the best role in a small, bit part in a comedy or something, or a drama. She did drama stuff all the time.
Yeah, and she would have. Like, she's had an incredible career, like underground cult classics all the way through. Home Alone, huge movie, Schitt's Creek. Just like didn't really put her foot wrong.
Yeah,
I mean, get into any scandals. Stuff. I mean, we might find out. She was in the
SCTV, which was but I mean, everything that came out has only been positive, But the SCTV stuff, like the Canadian SNL equivalent of like sketch comedy icon, with Eugene Levy and all that kind of stuff, like, yeah, I mean, genuinely an icon, and genuinely, I would across the course of yesterday, I would remember and I would get sad again. And then I'd forget, and then I'd think about it again. Oh, God damn,
Yeah, very sad.
At least I'm just glad that it came after she received the adulation that she deserved. Nice to know that she got to at least revel in it for a bit.
Yeah. Well, speaking of icons, do you want me to tell you this travel story?
I was going to say, you did set up the travel thing from earlier, so please let me know.
So I went to Sydney earlier this week, just for work. So it was a pretty boring trip, but I got to fly Qantas, which I haven't flown in maybe once ever. So that was a real treat to fly
versus
Qantas.
Like a Jetstar or a Virgin. What's your go-to?
With work trips, they usually put me on Virgin, which I think Virgin's really great. But I'm usually flying Jetstar, right?
Sure.
'Cause
I just wanted to know what your point of comparison was, but go ahead. Yeah.
yeah. But yeah, had a great experience, and I just I'm not sure how much you've flown Qantas, but for me, what the real benefit of flying Qantas was, it was not necessarily the customer service. That's all kind of stock standard. You'd expect. No, I won't say that. I was going to say you'd expect the sky stewards to be a little more attractive, but
no, it's the opposite. That's the only selling point of Virgin, isn't it?
It is, yeah. But so that the draw for me was not the customer service necessarily, but it was the people who were on the flight themselves. They're kind of dressed better. Everyone's, there's no kind of weird guy that's breathing too loud or talking on the phone or anything. Everyone's very respectful. Most people are solo travelers. I noticed this is probably the time of day that I traveled as well. But I really, I don't know. I really appreciate it. And get this, we took off 15 minutes early because they boarded everyone 15 minutes early, and I didn't even know that it was possible. But we left 15 minutes early because everyone just got on efficiently. Beautiful. Anyway, so flew back yesterday. Sorry, I flew back yesterday, and so on the way there, I got I booked my own seat, window seat all the way. I only go window. I know people have strong feelings about that, but I like to look at all the people on the ground and the clouds and stuff. Okay,
you can see people. You can see people on the ground.
Yeah.
Wow, you must great eyes.
Great, I've got a great vision. And so the person next to me on the way there got the absolute jackpot. Tiny Japanese lady. Beautiful. They just keep to themselves, very quiet. They don't do anything.
Yep.
You might have
this
a listen to that.
Yep.
But she's, there's no chance that she's going to spread over. Great. Right. On the way back yesterday, jackpot again. Tiny Japanese lady. Both ways.
Okay.
Lucky
and you
guy
hadn't
over
specifically
here.
requested this.
I did put it in the notes. Can I have a tiny little Asian woman? And they said, we can't guarantee it.
Any ethnicity works for me. Yeah.
So she's sitting there. Then her husband. So then there's another older lady sitting next to her that she doesn't know, like a kind of a Caucasian lady. Then her husband comes up a bit later and they're talking in Japanese, and the lady on the aisle seat says, "Oh, do you guys want to sit together?" And they go, "Oh yeah, that'd be great." So he sits there. So no issues until we land in Melbourne. Mm-hmm. And people start to disembark. Now, I'm 27F, so I'm about 4 rows from the back. Mm-hmm. So people start to get off the plane from the front. And I'm looking back because sometimes they open up the back.
They do the back exit.
And they did that on the way to Sydney. And I noticed that they have opened the back, but no one in the back few rows is moving. So I'm like, by the way, at the Sydney airport, I had put back a couple of beers. I got there a bit.
Your hard work week's done. You're ready to return.
I was feeling a little tired. I hadn't slept much over the last few days. And I got to the airport a little bit early.
Well, you didn't have your Ecosa pillow with you.
Exactly. Or my wife. So that
or the pillow, yeah.
Or the pillow, yeah.
Yeah.
So I got to the airport in Sydney a bit early, and I was feeling a bit like, and then I was like, I'm going to have a beard. I had my headphones on. I was watching the planes go by. I was listening to Boards of Canada, and I just came back to life, and I was just like, I had a huge vibe going on, and I kind of lost track of the time, and when we started to board, I was like, "Oh shit!" So I had to scull a beer. So I think I had 3 pints in an hour, and then I had to run to the gate because I didn't have enough time. So I didn't go to the bathroom. So
I was just gonna say, when you're jogging with 3 pints in you as well, I think that actually permeates the alcohol into the system faster. You're really sort of pumping it through.
And look, I felt great on the flight the whole time, but I did about halfway through. I'm starting to really bust for the bathroom. I'm trying actively not to think about,
Yeah, and the
how
bathroom
long we've
was out
got.
of order.
I'm not going to ask people to get up to go to the bathroom. I picked the seat.
Michael.
I'm not doing that. No. I picked the seat.
Michael.
It's up to me. I don't want to bother them. I'm happy to suffer. But that's all to say that when we started to get off the plane, I'm just thinking about getting to the bathroom. I'm like, okay. So anyway, I know I'm jumping around here. So I noticed that the rear doors have opened for disembarkation, and no one's moving. So I'm like,
Did
what?
they announce over the loudspeaker, we'll be disembarking from the front or the rear?
No.
Did they say both?
A little bit of this is on the stewards, because I don't know why they're not. I think they were kind of talking to each other. So I thought that was kind of on them. But a couple minutes go by, and I'm like, all right, this is crazy, because it's going to take ages for us to get off the front. So I'm like,
you're 27.
So I didn't want to do this, but I'm like, hey guys, the back doors are open, and then everyone's like, oh, okay. And so they start to get off the back. So that's good. But then it gets the Japanese couple next to me. It's kind of getting to the time where they should start getting up to get their bags, and they're not moving. And I'm like,
Okay.
all right, I'm starting to like stand up, even though I'm in F.
Yep.
I'm like, okay, because I like a snatch and grab and go.
Yeah.
And then it gets to our row, they're not moving, and I'm like, what the fuck? At this point, I'm fully standing. Then the row in front of me, then 5 rows in front have gone through the back. They're not.
What are they doing? Are they looking?
So they're not an old couple. They're maybe in their late 50s, early 60s. They've obviously decided that we're just going to wait for everyone to get off before we get off.
But you're standing right there.
Sacrificing me. And I'm like, this is insane. You can't do that. And I'm fucking busting to go to the bathroom. I'm so angry. I mean, they're a beautiful, gentle old Japanese couple. So what am I going to do? Like hit them? I'm probably not going to do that. So it gets to like 6 or 7 rows of these people. And I'm like, guys, no. So I thought about what I was going to say. And then it got to the moment, and I said something like, it must have sounded a bit passive aggressive, but I didn't really mean it to be. I think I said, so you're just not going to get up?
Are your legs not working?
I think I said something like, yeah. Well, so you're not going to get up? I didn't mean to be. And they kind of went, oh, okay. And then just kind of begrudgingly started to slowly get their shit. But
wow.
I mean, fucking, what are we doing? Come on, you can't do that, guys. I don't care where you're from.
And did you go out the back?
Yeah, I went out the back, but at that point, I could have gone out the front, and it would have taken. So anyway, just.
And did you safely make it to the bathroom?
I did, and then the fucking guy, the guy in the aisle seat, I kid you not, was there like kind of hogging up the bathroom space with the water basins with his suitcase and shit. I was like, so I kicked it over and fled.
Okay. Oh, so you did find a way to get retribution.
Yes, I did. Yes.
Well, I'm sorry that happened to you, but also don't be a fucking weirdo. Just stand up and go to the bathroom in the middle of the plane. What are you doing?
No, I can't do that. I'm not a monster.
Yes, you can. So your concern in this story was the fact that they were oblivious to the disruption that they were causing you, but you refused to cause them the minor disruption of standing up halfway through as well.
Well, I guess is what compounds my fury is that I mean, they have no idea that I was there suffering in silence the whole time, just so I didn't have to disturb them, and then they actively were sabotaging me. It felt like.
Yeah. So there's the lesson, isn't it? You should have just gone to the fucking bathroom.
Nice guys finish last, don't we, Nick?
Nice guys piss themselves in the aisle.
Next time I'll do that.
Big endorsement for Qantas, though.
Yeah, shout out to Qantas.
Shout out to Qantas.
If you're listening. Who's the CEO of Qantas now?
Jeremy Brothankton.
Yes. Great.
Well, I am glad that you survived. And I'm sorry that was a self-inflicted thing that happened to
you. Thanks.
Do we want to talk a little bit about the America stuff? Any updates on where that's all going?
Yeah. I mean, did you see in one of the emails that were leaked from Epstein in the new batch that they released yesterday, Epstein told Ghislaine Maxwell at one point that when Trump stays in his bed or in one of the guest rooms, that it's probably better just to burn the sheets from than to wash them because of all the brown stains and smell.
Is that true?
That's what Epstein said. It's in one of the emails. Yeah.
Oh God.
So, tracks.
Well, I mean, the Epstein one that came out that I saw was all the Elon Musk stuff with him begging to come to what's the absolutely craziest day that I should come to your island?
Yeah, we're looking for. He said a tranquil island experience is the opposite of what I'm looking for. I want one of your wild parties. Which is Elon's going on damage control right now.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah, Epstein's also in part of one of those exchanges because Elon asked to come to the island a few times. In one of those exchanges, Elon sent Epstein an email saying, "Can I come to the island? When's good?" And Epstein has just forwarded that to Ghislaine and says, "Can you take care of this, please? To get him off my back. I don't want to deal with this guy."
Yeah, right. I'm not sure who looks worse in that exchange, the convicted sex trafficker or Elon Musk. Well,
I think Bill Gates has come out very bad after this. I don't know if you heard about that one.
Well, no, I didn't hear that one either, but he's been caught up in this for a while, hasn't he?
Well, this is incredibly damning. The short version of it is that Bill Gates, while he was married to Melinda, contracted an STD from someone that he slept with there, and then asked Epstein to surreptitiously provide him antibiotics that he can slip his wife so she won't know she got an STD.
Oh God,
pretty bad.
Oh God, I mean Bill Gates. Yeah.
His stock's gone down. Way down.
Jeez. I mean, I know that it's cliche at this point, but it really just feels like the worst people are in charge of everything. It's just horrible.
I was thinking that today, really seeing that photo of Epstein and Noam Chomsky on the private jet, and I'm like, these truly are the people that are running the world. You know?
Yeah. Or
Epstein was sending emails to the Treasury Department while he was in prison. It's kind of wild.
The picture of Epstein with Brett Ratner. Brett Ratner, who was the the Hollywood director accused credibly of a ton of sexual improprieties, basically ousted from Hollywood, and then came along and directed this Melania documentary.
Yeah. Have you seen it yet?
In itself, no. I've been looking for opportunities, but I just haven't found the time.
Yeah. Okay. I hear it's good.
I did see there was some coverage here that for the entire first week of its release on opening day, there were no tickets sold in any cinemas across New Zealand. There was not a single seat booked for the entire week of its release. So that may well have changed at this point.
I didn't realize it was actually screening. I heard it only got a very narrow release theatrically.
I think there was only one chain here that was taking it. But
no, there's nothing in. Oh no, actually, you can see it. You can see it at Palace Nova in Adelaide. That's the closest one to me. Hell yeah! Well,
imagine.
I'm going to Adelaide next week, so maybe.
Book a flight. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
But yeah, the fact that there's photos of Brett Ratner there with Epstein is so unsurprising. And then of course he's done a fucking documentary paid for by fucking Jeff Bezos to shine a light on Melania and this flattering propaganda. It's all just rich fuckers patting each other on the back. I find it so gross.
It is funny that no one will give Brett Ratner a movie other than these crooks, and no one will direct a movie for those crooks other than Brett Ratner. Yeah, so it's kind of a match made in heaven.
It makes sense. Yeah, no, I can't disagree there.
Yeah. Here we go again.
Yeah.
You see that in the trailer? She goes, "Here we go again."
Oh, I haven't even watched the trailer. No.
I actually think I will watch the documentary. I'm fascinated to just know it. It's like a morbid curiosity that I have about it.
Yeah, don't
I'm
pay
not
money to go see it though.
No, I'll
if you're
rip
gonna
it.
watch fucking Malaria, you got to pirate it like a normal human being.
I'll pirate it first, and then if I like it, then I'll donate
get
to
the
Marga.
Blu-ray.
Yeah. Directly. Buy a couple of hats.
Yeah. It's nice to support the artists who make stuff that you like. And of course, this is all against the backdrop of increasing American fucking horrors with the ongoing ICE murders, and it really feels like things are spiraling out of control now. I know last year I predicted a assassination. I reckon we're still on track. I reckon we're sadly circling that drain again.
Who's gonna kill him though? Who would do it? Is it just a kind of a radical leftist? Is it kind of a hit job from someone more powerful? Who are you imagining is doing this?
I mean, the problem is that so many people hate him. It could be radical left. It could just as easily be radical right, who were pissed off that he didn't do any of the things he said he was going to do when he got into the office. Yeah. It could be about the Epstein thing. It could be about the ICE thing. It could be, any number of motivations, really. The people who tend to have the most guns and the most willingness to use them is right, but I don't know. I don't want to speculate too glibly about it because it would be a horrifying lurch into an even worse state of the world, probably. But it doesn't feel stable. The things that are going on now, the 5-year-olds that ICE are kidnapping, the innocent bystanders that ICE is murdering for no reason, and the subsequent lack of justice.
And now the Don Lemon arrest as well.
Yeah, arresting journalists. Yeah.
So I mean, it does feel like we are currently on the slippery slope towards fascism, and I think you'll probably say we're already there. I've been reading a lot about the history of fascism because I know that word gets bandied around a lot, and I'm not saying that it's not appropriate in this situation, but I think it's just you want to be. I feel like I personally want to be careful using a word like that, because you could say that Trump's like Hitler, or you could say he's a fascist, or he's a dictator, and those things might be true, partially true, or whatever. But I don't personally want to just flippantly use those terms. I want to, when it's completely undoubtedly true, I want to be like, no, he is a fascist. So I have been listening to a lot of podcasts about that, the history of fascism, and it started with like Mussolini and stuff. And honestly, it does feel like the way that Trump is ruling right now, it's at least halfway fascistic.
I mean, it's an interesting point here. I saw an article this week actually talking about the language, the names that people call themselves and that are applied to them as labels. And there was an article here, this was written by John Gruber on Daring Fireball, presenting a point of view which I hadn't considered before, which was that before the terms, fascism or Nazi, they weren't slurs applied to the originators of these terms by their political or military opponents.
Yes.
That was what they called themselves.
Yes.
And as a result, the names became slurs because the beliefs of the fascists or the Nazis were universally recognized as reprehensible and evil, and because they lost.
Yes.
So Gruber here in this article actually says that the goal should not be to make fascist or Nazi apply to Trump's movement, no matter how well the rhetorical glove fit his, quote, short-fingered, disgustingly bruised hands. Don't call Trump Hitler. Instead, work until Trump becomes the new descriptor. The job won't be done. The era of madness won't end until we make the names they call themselves universally acknowledged slurs, like MAGA or Trumpist or possibly even Republican.
Yeah.
Which I thought was an interesting angle on it that I hadn't explicitly considered. I mean, that was in response to an article talking about, entitled, quote, "Yes, it's fascism," which was about an academic's reluctance, historically, to describe what was happening as fascism because it was overused or overbroad or potentially meaningless, or all the things that you have reticence to. But then describing how the recent changes have erased those hesitancies. Anyway,
Yeah.
I thought it was an interesting perspective.
Yeah, and there's another interesting thing I learned about the etymology of the word fascist. So it's derived from the Italian word fascismo, which
Yeah.
is derived from a Latin word, which means bundle of sticks, fascismo, which is what is another word that
Faggot.
starts with F.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's kind of a funny little irony.
Well, again, like Mussolini was called a fascist because he coined the term. His movement was literally the fascist party.
Yeah.
So yeah, but yeah, it's Italian origins of another word that became another slur.
Yeah. So you, in a sense, you could really call them.
I'm a fascist. I get it. I finally get it.
Or you could really call the Trump administration. I can't say it, Nick.
I'm not going to say it either.
Okay.
The ICE stuff. Have you been, following the Alex Pretty stuff and everything that came out after that? I mean, that was a fairly shocking turn of events. The whole Minneapolis thing.
I mean, yeah. I mean, I've been thinking a lot about it. I'm not. I mean, everyone's said all the
There's
the
not
things.
that much more to add, I suppose. Yeah.
It's more. What I'm curious about is what's going on behind the doors of the Oval Office. What kind of discussions are going on? Because it seems pretty clear that Trump just sending Bovino in there, the way he's not really getting Kristi Noem's back publicly. He's a media savvy guy. If you're not going to give him anything, you have to give him that. So he's aware of the polls, even if he denounces it. He knows that this is a bad look, and I'm just interested in how they are navigating the usual spin that they do naturally, and also how do we mitigate this and to not look like the bad guys when we can see that everyone thinks that we are.
Does it feel like to you there is a slight increase in the media's willingness to say the narrative that they are putting forward is a lie because the video we've seen disproves it? It feels to me like we saw a little bit more of that explicitly, where historically they would, dance around the fact that, this someone will come on and talk some shit and they would sort of not push back on it or would let it sit there without a correction. But I feel like in the wake of the actual killing, where there was a video evidence that just very explicitly from multiple angles disproved the narrative that they put out, I think I've seen a few more organizations start to explicitly say that that's not factually true based on the video we've seen.
Yeah, I'm not sure if I've noticed an increase in that. I think, the Renee Good shooting, these situations that do happen to be recorded from multiple angles, the way they survive for the people who are directly responsible for them. So the Republicans and the Trump administration. So that they thrive on ambiguity in order to make their spin somewhat fathomable, right? And I think with the Pretty one, once it was clear that they had, and to be clear, it was border agents, not ICE, that killed him.
Sure.
Once it was clear that they had removed the gun and then shot him 4 or 5 times, I mean, it's pretty hard. No matter how you're going to spin it. I mean, the nuance of the situation in both cases, I guess, would be that, they they didn't put themselves in a position to be killed. I'm just being devil's advocate here, just so you know, they were, antagonizing or getting in the face of ICE agents. So in some way they put themselves in a threatening position. They absolutely did not put themselves in a situation to be killed, but that's what the other side's going to say. And I think with the Preddy one, it was like, okay, look, we can't really defend this one convincingly.
Well, the interesting thing as well for me is the fact that he had a gun on him, right? Because that Second Amendment thing has been the foundational principle of the right in America for the past 40 years, like if not more. The idea that he had a legal right to hold the weapon and that was used against him, and the fact that the NRA came out against the Trump administration's statements. Like, what world are we living in now where the fundamental right, this is just another in the long list of amendments that they're ignoring. But it is crazy to see the gun nuts against the right in this environment as a result of that.
Market just eating itself. And I did see a lot of people, saying, Bill Riley and stuff saying, don't bring a gun to a protest. What kind of protest do you bring a gun to?
Yeah.
It's like, dude, I mean, it's so easy. Jan 6 and Carl Rittenhouse. Come
crazy.
On. I mean, what do we
I mean, that's the thing where
it's a slam dunk.
There's so much historical... The contradiction is head spinning.
And it should be clear that Preddy didn't even brandish the weapon at all.
No, it was just carrying. He was not holding it. He was not pointing it. He was not anything. They just took it off him. Yeah, it's scary out there, man. I have a couple of friends over there, and they're like, "Oh, do you think you'll come visit?" And I just genuinely, I have no interest in going. I just really don't want to go to America. It's really soured my. I mean, I would definitely rule it out for 3 years, but even beyond that, I just feel like, I don't know. There's a hollowness there that I don't know that in terms of reputation or destination or cultural significance or anything. I don't know how America really recovers from this sort of self-sabotage.
Oh yeah, we're watching the trajectory of America swerve to the right, once you're off the highway, you can get back eventually, but you're gonna have to take a few back streets to get back.
Yeah, it's just it was also preventable is the problem, and I'm not absolving either the democratic incompetence here in terms of any sort of action or behavior or resistance or anything, because they have continued to be absolutely useless. But when I see like Canada coming out and making these kind of explicit statements and sort of talking about a post-America world, it's kind of crazy to think that we're living through this period in which what was a foundational part of society is now falling apart.
It is truly the fall of an empire, really.
Yeah, but it'll be interesting to see the flow-on effects for us in tertiary fringes of the world, where we had these trade relationships, we had expectations of military protection, we had treaties which were based around this foundational stone. And I think both the EU and Canada and Mexico, and to a lesser extent, Australia, New Zealand, were all kind of reckoning with the idea of like, well, what do we do now if this falls over? And I think it is only rational to start to cook up alternative structures of support and that sort of thing. But yeah, has it reached a point for you where you consider your day-to-day life in terms of, you see some suggestions of like, don't buy American, buy Canadian food, or, here in New Zealand, what can I buy if I don't want to buy American? Has that crossed over to you in terms of a
boycott,
anything that affects your day-to-day other than as like a news cycle?
I don't think so. I mean, when we went out to lunch the other week, I did think it was interesting that Yeah, so I think I suggested an American diner that was close to your hotel, and you kind of didn't want, you were kind of half joking, but you're like, I don't want to do that. I thought that was interesting. It did make me
To be
think.
clear, that was just from a cuisine thing, not from a political thing. I was like, I just don't really
Oh,
feel like eating at a diner. I just
okay,
kind of want like a sandwich, not like a. It's not like I'm anti-fascist, so I'm not going to eat at an American restaurant. It's like I
okay,
just don't want that food.
okay. In that case, I thought about it a lot harder than I needed to for a few days after. No, I don't. I'm not. I don't think about. I don't think about it like that. I mean, the furthest I go is just torrenting the Melania doc, I would say.
Sure. Yeah. Scary times. Hey, Mikey boy, I got a little bit of a science news for you. How do you feel about that?
Okay, yeah, that sounds fine.
Well, then let me play this jingle for you right now. It's that time. Time for science news. Okay. You know what? I think this also vaguely counts as a weird news.
Ooh, a little hybrid.
A little bit of a hybrid. You know, like most of the science, it is a combination of disciplines. Did you see this, Michael? This is from mid last year. The US to dump billions of flies over Mexico in a $30 million fight against flesh-eating maggots.
Okie dokie. No, I didn't.
Okay. The US has reportedly drawn up plans to breed billions of flies over Mexico in an attempt to eradicate a vicious variety of flesh-eating maggot. The move comes as the New World screwworm fly larvae continues to cause chaos as it infiltrates the US beef industry, affecting wider wildlife, pets, and in rare cases, humans. According to scientists, the new batch of male sterilized maggots will be dumped over the North American nation and US state of Texas in a bid to eradicate the vicious variety of flesh-eating larvae. The US Department of Agriculture has said the male flies, which measure slightly larger than the average housefly, will be sterilized with radiation before being released. The strategy will force the female screwworms to breed with the newly sterilized males. The flesh-eating variety of the screwworm maggots were eradicated from the US in 1966, but the creatures appear to be making a comeback. Increasingly deemed a pest across areas of North America, there are now fears the maggots could once again begin spreading north into parts of the US. The move will ensure the next generation of flesh-eating young are not produced, instead passing the sterile genes from the radiation-blasted bugs and ensuring the eventual eradication of the flesh-eating variety. There are some absolutely horrific photos here, which I will not send them through.
Thank you.
But they're sterilizing some flies by dropping billions of flies in North America.
Oh, I mean, God Almighty! Imagine being a screwworm. What is it? Screwworm maggot fly.
Screwworm fly. Yeah.
Making your way over to Idaho, finding yourself in conversation with just a normal housefly. And it's like,
making eyes across the bar.
Are you a fly? Yeah. Are you a fly? Well, yeah, technically I'm a screwworm flesh-eating fly. I mean, I don't know why I thought about that.
So this is, I actually have an updated story from November here from the USDA. That's the US Department of Agriculture. November 13. Today, the US Department of Agriculture announced the next milestone in the fight against the New World screwworm, the opening of a sterile fly dispersal facility in Tampico, Mexico. The Tampico facility will allow them to disperse sterile flies aerially across northeastern Mexico, including in Nuevo Leon. So this is happening. They are doing it. There are two methods of dispersing sterile insects: aerial dispersal and ground release chambers. Aerial operations are preferred because they allow for dispersal at a steady rate through a large area, and also because sterile insects may be dispersed in areas that are unreachable from the ground. The USDA continues to disperse 100 million sterile flies per week in Mexico. But until now, the aerial operations have been limited to southern Mexico. Anyway, they are dropping so many fucking sterile flies. 100 million sterile flies per week. Crazy.
You know what this makes me think about? How long is it? You see these videos of you kind of like drones in combat zones in Israel, China, whatever, like, and sometimes I'm just struck with the fact that, like, this is like scientific dystopian shit. Like the technology, all the stuff that we saw in the movies, Elysium and District 9. Like, I'm like, we're like literally going through it right now. No one's talking about it. And what this made me think of is, how we use nature a lot in kind of engineering of planes, based on birds, for example, or trains. How long before we start using, like, building little flies and sending them in as a swarm to infect like a nation and using them as like bio warfare kind of thing? I reckon that's going to happen.
Miniaturization of drone technology will definitely be a thing.
Yeah, or just like, I don't know, injecting flies with like a virus or something, and then sending them in to fuck up.
Yeah, bio weapons that's a scary idea. Yeah. I mean, we know malaria and everything is the most like dangerous fly-borne disease. Was that flies? Yeah, it must be flies. Mosquitoes. What malaria in? Is that mosquitoes?
It's actually pronounced melania.
Oh, okay. Brett Ratner. Mosquitoes. I'm thinking of mosquitoes as malaria. But yeah, the idea that they can be like weaponized is kind of terrifying. I'm just going to circle back slightly because you did say, okay, planes. Yeah, we based our planes based on birds, and then you said trains, and I just want to quickly check in and think, what animal do you think that we base trains on?
I was thinking about the Shinkansen train based.
With the nose cone?
Yeah.
Is that what you're thinking?
Animal,
okay.
Yes. I should have clarified.
Okay.
But it's yeah, so the Shinkansen is based on the kingfisher, which is another bird.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's not. I'm not talking about the Christchurch,
just the
Christchurch
system.
Metro, the trams, which is actually based on a hippopotamus. Could you believe it?
Okay, yeah, which is why they're so slow and useless. Yeah. Good times.
I should have said rhino because they actually use rhinos in the safety adverts for those. They said getting hit by a train is like being hit by 10 rhinos or something.
Oh. I don't want either of them to hit me, to be honest.
No.
I think one rhino is enough.
One's enough.
I'd survive one rhino, but 10?
Yeah, too much. Too much rhino.
Too much. Too horny. If you've enjoyed this episode, then please spend a little bit of time scrolling down that feed, find an old episode and pop that one on because we promise you'll like it too. You can also get in touch with us and tell us how much fun you had while listening. You can do that by emailing us at deepfort@gmail.com. You can reach out to us on Instagram. You can listen to us on Spotify. You can find a comment section underneath the Spotify box and leave a comment like our friend Ben did. What did Ben say?
Ben said, I'm just pulling that up because I knew you were going to go here. So, comment of the week this week comes from Ben for our episode titled Green Flags. He said, thanks, Michael. I'm going to need the relentless peer pressure from a podcast to achieve my goals. Now, if you remember on the last episode, I think it was, you talked about Ben going to the gym, which was, a cool thing that he's doing. And I said that we would check in with him every episode to make him accountable. So we're going to do that right now. How's he going,
we'll call him.
Nick? How's it going?
I haven't heard updates, so we'll just use this space here, I think, just to give him some motivational messages rather than receive them.
Yes. So Ben, if you're listening to this and you haven't, gone for a run this week, get out there, buddy. Get out there. We're rooting for you.
You got this, buddy. You can do it. Get swole, get whole, get whole with a W, W-H-O-L-E.
Okay.
That's hard in
Go get that hole with a W. Get after it.
And you can just generally be like Ben, leave comments, get in touch, and be a good person. Enjoy your life. And don't be afraid to impose a little bit on the people around you if it means you don't piss yourself. Just a nice life lesson. Maki, how about some miffs?
Cool.
Michael's miffed, and no displeased.
can't remember if I've done this one before, but it keeps flaring up. So what can you do? My first myth.
There's a cream for it. You don't have to discuss it on the podcast.
My first myth this week is when you ask someone a question, and you need a specific answer for, and they give you a vague answer. So, off the top of my head, what time is the movie tomorrow? Early. Don't say early. Say 4:30 p.m. Just give the time. Don't say early.
4:30 counts as early? See, this is more ammunition here.
Well, early afternoon or something. Yeah, and it doesn't just go with time. I'm not saying necessarily that these have all happened in my life recently, in my relationship at home. I'm not saying that, but like, what kind of drink do you want me to get you from the shop? Something refreshing.
On,
something refreshing. Yeah. Okay, I need something more specific. Okay, this is another. Okay, this one actually did happen. What do you want me to order? What food do you want me to order? Something soon. Something soon. Okay, so these aren't answers.
I mean, to be fair, at that point you have the latitude to order whatever you want, because if her criteria is just I need it in the next 30 minutes, then you get to pick whatever food you want. I'm sorry, you offered the question and you got the response that you needed.
Okay, yeah. I might stop asking questions. But this is another one. When I ask a question, and someone answers my question with why. Like what? Like as in why do you want to know? I'm like, that nothing infuriates me.
Just
more
give me the answer. Yeah. I get that one. Yeah.
What do you got?
I'll also throw an answer that's frustrating for you. The old, I've given you two options and you say yes. So, are we going to, are you going to go to the gym or are you going to go to yoga?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, no, you don't get to say yes because there are two options. You have to name one of the two options because otherwise it could be either of them.
It could be both.
Do you want to go up the walk? Or...
It would apply if you're doing both. But that's
and there's instances, though, where it isn't, where it is specifically one.
Yeah.
Are you going to go for a walk? Are you going to stay here? Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's someone's
No, they can't. Yeah. You have to pick one.
Yeah. Multiple choice.
Questions. Yeah.
What do you got?
I got a wee myth here. This is specific, but I think you'll find it relatable.
Okay.
If you've gone for a road trip, even just a little bit of a day trip, you've been on the road, let's call it over an hour.
Okay.
And you're returning home. My myth, and this is more of a vibe than it is a specific behavior that someone has partaken in. Okay. But my myth is that last 10 minutes before you're home after a road trip, where let's say you've been on the freeway and now I'm at 50, where I've gone from places I don't recognize to places I do recognize, where I've been on my ass and I need to pee and I'm just thinking there's 10 minutes left and now I've got traffic lights and now there's like road construction and now I know that I need to get, two lefts up here and then make a right. My myth is it's just the last 10 minutes before you're home on a road trip. It's the most tedious part. There's an emotional thing of like the adventure's over, but also there's just the frustrations of the familiarity and the decrease in speed and efficiency compared to what we were just doing. And it's just like, just get it over with,
So your myth, if I'm understanding you correctly, is kind of just the way that time works and your perception of time.
It's just the feeling of being so close to the destination, but now being more impeded at getting there than the speed at which I was traveling out on the open road. I mean, it's just. Is this not? Do you not understand this? Does not mean anything to you?
I'd be lying if I said that I hadn't just wished after a long road trip that I could just zap fast forward for the last 20 minutes or so. Yeah, because it's just like I'm just dying to. You're just dying to get there, and it's like, why?
Here's the other other corollary here. When the captain on the plane says, "We've started our descent and well, we're approaching the destination, cabin crew, please be seated for landing." And then you sit there for 20 minutes and you're just watching that little, icon on the screen as you approach your destination. And maybe you do that thing where they have to cycle, do a lap around the runway because there's a bit of a congestion. And then you touch down, and then you have to sit there and very slowly taxi to the gate, and just that last 20 minutes where it's like, I thought we were done, but actually this is the most painful part of it.
Yeah, it is. It's excruciating, and made more so when the doors are actually open and
the doors are moving. Open. No one's moving. Full circle.
So I get that one. So this might be a little bit of a controversial one, but I mean it. I mean it with my whole being. My myth is when you're parking in a supermarket. We're trying to find a park in a supermarket car park, and you got someone in front of you who's also trying to find a park, and they reverse unnecessarily into the park, and just hold everyone up.
Past. When they go past and then they back in, and what you're saying.
And they can easily it's not that hard. It's not too tight. If it's necessary, that's not my myth. But when people unnecessarily do it, and I know they're obviously doing it so they can make a quick exit. But when there's people backed up and you're doing it, some part of me is just like, you're just showing off, or this is so unnecessary. I hate it, and I want people to stop doing it unless it's completely necessary.
Michael, I have to say when it comes to this one, I 100% agree. I have never understood the argument that backing into a car park is somehow more efficient. I'm sorry, but it isn't.
It's not.
It isn't. You're either backing out or you're backing in. Neither of them are more efficient. And I don't understand the inclination to be able to drive forward out. It really makes no difference. I would argue that backing into a narrow park is harder than backing out of a narrow park into an open road. I'm not sure what is being solved by this.
No.
If you're doing it at a supermarket, you're insane because people need to put bags into your boot. Why are you backing in to make it the least accessible part from the trolley? That's crazy.
Exactly.
And again, if you need to, sure. If there is some sort of access thing where, you need to get something out of the front seat or you need to load something up, whatever, who cares? It's nice to have the skill. But as a general principle, I don't think that backing into a park so that you can drive forward out adds any efficiency to your day whatsoever.
Thank you,
and
brother.
is more likely to cause some kind of car congestion because you have to go past the park and then the person behind you's moved up a little bit and then all of a sudden there's this,
Thank you, brother.
Yeah, 100% with you.
My theory is, I'm not sure how solid it is, but my theory is it might be kind of a throwback or a kind of a thing that's lingered on after, because all the cars now have reverse camera kind of setups, and most cars have that. And I feel like
some will park for you. You just park next to it and you press the button, and they'll just auto park you.
Tesla. But I thought maybe when cars didn't have reverse cameras, it may be if you're in a kind of a busy supermarket, maybe it would be less dangerous to go front out of a car park rather than back. But it's it's not a solid theory.
But you're still backing into the park in the first place. There's still people around when you're doing it in.
Yeah, and then you have to squeeze by the other car anyway.
Yeah, I 100% agree. I don't see the point.
Thanks, Doug.
Well, let's do just a quick little rec eng because I just want to get just one or two things off if that works for you.
Sure.
I'll grab the keys. Welcome to Deep Thoughts Recommendation Engine. Alrighty, just a quick little touch on something we talked about previously. I discussed Kumail Nanjiani's special Night Thoughts, and then you watched it. I wondered if you had thoughts on Night Thoughts.
Yeah, we enjoyed it enough. Well, I wasn't rolling around, but I enjoyed it enough.
Yeah, when you said that you saw it, I was under the impression that you had more that you wanted to talk about it. But if you just generally liked it, that's good.
I didn't write anything. There might have been, but no,
It was
it
stuff.
was pretty good.
Yeah, it was stuff about the his runs on the fact that he got buff. I enjoyed at the end. He had a list of reasons that he was doing it, which I found enjoyable, and I thought it was a fun stand-up. I saw 28 Years Later, The Bone Temple. Have you seen The Bone Temple, Mikey?
No, it's the Danny Boyle, Cillian Murphy.
28 years later, yes.
Is that what we're talking about?
Was the Danny Boyle... sorry, 28 days later, and then...
What's the title of the film that you're saying?
28 years later,
yeah.
The Bone Temple. So there was 28 days later, and then I think it was 28 weeks later was the sequel. And these were both in like 2000. Yeah. And they were both Danny Boyle. And then they have come back with a new trilogy of sequel films called 28 Years Later. Cillian Murphy as a producer, but not the star. Danny Boyle directed the first one, and I think intends to direct the third one. This second one is called 28 Years Later, The Bone Temple. It was actually directed by Nia DaCosta.
Oh, it's written by Alex Garland.
And Alex Garland, who wrote the originals, came back and wrote the sequels as well.
All right.
And they are, even if you're not a zombie guy, they're just really interesting, cool things. Ralph Fiennes, great role in this. It's like a real fucked up terrific. Kind of survivor. It's a young kid. There's
Aaron Taylor Johnson.
Aaron Taylor Johnson, thank you. You're looking at the cast, and there's another woman there who's really good.
Jodie Comer.
Jodie Comer, who's really good as well. 28 Years Later, last year, good film. Really interesting editing. Like you don't see people make big editorial choices as much these days. It's a little bit conformist, and Danny Boyle likes to have a swing, and I respect that. That film was interesting, but going into it, I didn't explicitly understand it was going to be like part of this trilogy of films. Like it ends in a way which wraps things up, but also explicitly is unfinished. And this second one is then handed off to a different director. And Nia DaCosta comes in with this great film, like really exciting and interesting. And there's all these like philosophical, like it's decades into like the post-zombie world, right? And it's these small communities, and it's questions of masculinity and well, I don't want to give away too many spoilers, but I just really enjoyed it. The music's really great. Hilda, what's her name? That really Swedish sounding name. But I would just recommend.
She's a cellist.
Hilda Gudnadottir, whose work I've enjoyed previously. She's very good.
What she did? What films did she?
Chernobyl, Joker, Tar. Just good music. But yeah. So I would recommend it, even if you're not a zombie person. The zombie things aren't really the focus. Just some really interesting performances, some cool like unsettling horror-y kind of things, and a lot of penises in both of the films. They're just fully
you buried the lead there, didn't you? Okay,
they're schlonging everywhere. There's a lot of these infected dudes. You're spending 28 years. They don't have clothes, and they're just hanging dong.
I mean, well, consider me sold.
Yes.
Dan, so this movie Sinners that's come out, and it's got the most Oscar noms in history. You probably haven't seen it, have you?
I have seen it, yeah.
You have? Oh, did you like it?
Yeah, Sinners. I liked it, but I didn't go gaga over it in the way that I think a lot of people have.
Yeah, okay. I haven't seen it either, and I'm just saying this because it's got vampires in it and stuff, so I was immediately like, I'm not going to see that. And then it's got all these Oscar noms, and part of me is just like, okay, I'm not.
How good can it be? Yeah,
yeah. And then Dan sent me a message last night saying, "Have you seen Sinners? You got to go see it. I just saw it last night. It's my pick for the best picture." And I'm like, I trust Dan.
He sent me the same message. Actually.
Did he?
Yeah.
I was surprised. So I'm like, all right, I don't really want to. I don't really care about vampires, but
it's not vampire-y in like a really cliche way. It is a lot it is a long, long time before vampires even show up, to be honest.
Okay.
So yeah, it's I respected it more than I enjoyed it. I really like Ryan Coogler as a director. There are moments in it that really worked for me and that I thought were quite magical, in like a as an adjective, not literally. But it didn't. Funnily enough, as the person who has the most time for, a superhero movie or a fantasy movie or whatever of the two of us, weirdly, the vampire stuff for me, I think, actually kept me slightly further away from the film than if it was perhaps just a period drama, because the surrounding wrapping and the characters and the narrative of the black people in this era and the struggles to gain independence both financially and off the back of slavery and all this kind of stuff was really fascinating. And it's also couched in this music world, the idea of intergenerational music and that kind of thing, which is really fascinating. And then halfway through, it's sort of vampires in a way that I kind of
ruined it.
Yeah, I mean, maybe it's something that going back through on another viewing, I pick up the thematic goal of it a bit more, but I just kind of was engrossed in the world enough that I sort of just would have liked it to be his Dunkirk or something, where it's like he's just telling an interesting story from a historical era about interesting people.
Yeah. Okay, well, that's sold out. I'm probably not going to watch it. Just a
I
side...
mean, I think you should definitely look at it.
I'll get a vibe from chuck it on my phone. Just as a side note, I think the Oscars, in a couple of weeks, so this will be a couple of weeks away, but the week before the Oscars, let's do kind of our Oscars predictions, maybe do a little side bit.
I'm so out of touch when it comes to the movies, so I would be purely guessing, but sure.
Great, then I'll win easily.
Cool.
So I got a couple of docs and a film. So Kanye's come back in the news, I think, this week with he took out an ad, which is a full page apology, which is interesting. I didn't really read it. I just kind of skimmed it, and it was kind of interesting because it did seem fairly earnest. So I don't know who knows.
Yeah,
it's hard to tell.
I think he can be earnest about... So for those who didn't see it, it was about him explaining how his bipolar disorder led to him saying all the anti-Semitic Jewish hate stuff, which, I'm sympathetic to mental health stuff, but I don't think necessitates forgiveness or a return to public life in my eye. But that's my perspective.
Yeah. Well, a couple of weeks ago, Lauren and I watched this documentary that's come out called In Whose Name, which is a documentary about Kanye West, but not produced by Kanye West. And it is a film directed by, I think it's a first-time independent director. So a couple of years ago, 5-6 years ago, when all this kind of Kanye stuff really started to kick off, Kanye took a shining to this young filmmaker kid and said, "You can follow me around with your camera." And he did so for many years. And he's put out recently this documentary called In Whose Name. Now, there was a documentary a couple of years ago, I think it was on Netflix, about Kanye, and it was kind of, it just felt a bit soft, a bit too forgiving. Now, this film I don't think it's trying to say anything, but it's actually a really terrific documentary. And it doesn't hold back. You see Kanye West really losing it in a very visceral way. It doesn't really reflect well on him at all. His egomania is on full display in this documentary, and it's wild. Like the stuff that we've seen in the news or his tweets or whatever, that is the tip of the iceberg compared to what this documentary shows. It just shows him what he's really like behind the scenes, what he what this vision of himself as a messiah or a genius is really on display, and it was really there's some really touching moments with him and his kids, and I don't think I think people have got strong feelings about Kanye, based because of his behavior and the things he said, and that's I understand that completely, but I mean, I don't think you'd need to feel conflicted about watching this film. I think it's really, really good. In whose name?
I think it's interesting. I'm curious about it. I would be interested in watching it. The comment you made that it's not making an argument one way or another, right? I feel like that's always slightly disingenuous, because you can't put together a film without making some sort of editorial choice about what you include and don't include.
Yeah.
And I understand that what you're showing is unvarnished footage, and I understand that perhaps there's no narration, or there is no like talking heads, and there's no explicit, verbalization of and this was the moment that he became Hitler. Like I understand that you're saying it's not in your face about what to think, but I don't think it can be true that you can make a film without some kind of perspective on it. I don't think it can merely be.
I know what you're saying. You said this last time about another film. Do you remember what the
Well,
film
I mean, he's literally in control of what he includes and doesn't include. And if he's including unflattering things, then to a certain extent, his goal is to be unvarnished, or to show him in a bad light, not because it's unreasonable, but that is a choice that he's
You're
made,
talking
right?
about the director here, not Kanye, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
The director.
Sure,
the director is choosing to put stuff in which is unflattering, or reveals him at his lowest, and he's also including things at his highest. But the fact that those are both involved doesn't mean that it's a neutral film. It could as easily be a Melania where it's propaganda and there's no unflattering stuff at all.
I guess maybe that's what I mean. Like, it's not a propaganda type film, and I agree. Like you're making editorial choices, so you are telling some sort of story, even if you're not ramming a message down someone's throat. And so maybe that's what I mean. It's like I didn't feel like it was rammed down your throat, and
it was more observational than it was propaganda.
And honestly, it could have easily been titled "Portrait of Bipolar" or something like that, because that's what it felt like, a portrait of someone who's incredibly famous, incredibly talented, and incredibly mentally troubled. And so
interesting.
Get a hold of it, watch it, tell me what you think.
Cool.
Do you want me to just rattle off my other doc real quick?
If you want to.
This one will be real quick. It's a documentary on Netflix called Cover Up. It just follows this American journalist called Seymour Hersh, who he's exposed war crimes in the Vietnam War, the bombing of Cambodia, Watergate. He's done a lot. He was part of the whole Nixon Watergate tapes. So he's an incredibly threatening journalist over the last few years to political figures. He's kind of a curmudgeon. He clearly doesn't want to do the documentary. Some of the filmmakers of the documentary, in their process, unearthed things that he didn't know that they knew about, and was annoyed. And that's all on camera. And it was just a really cool
historical doco.
It's just the bravery of journalists holding truth to power, and it just really made me feel I don't know, in huge appreciation of journalists, especially in this day and age, with Trump and everything, that who just have incredible courage. And they literally put their life on the line to get the truth out. And it's on Netflix. So
cool.
A little anecdote. So there's nothing much to it. So Lauren and I caught an Uber the other day, and we're in this Uber. This guy has like 1,000. You can see the the reviews of the driver. He's got like 10,000 5-star reviews. His rating is 5 stars after 10,000 reviews. We're just not going a short distance, and he's not really talking. Lauren and I just having a conversation. We're on our way to drinks or whatever, and we're having a conversation, and then all of a sudden, there's no music playing in the car. All of a sudden, from my right-hand speaker, I'm in the back seat, Lauren's in the back seat, on the right-hand side goes a fart noise through the speaker. And we're like, what the fuck? And then he does it on Lauren's side. This is a Tesla, by the way. I don't know why that matters, but does a fart, does a different kind of fart on her side. And then we start cracking up laughing. And he's like, yeah, this is kind of a little joke that I like to play with couples to try and make the other people, like to try and make them think the other person farted. I'm like, well, this is very fun. And then he told us, he's like, yeah, I actually suffer from IBS myself. And then just told us this whole story about how at every office that he's ever worked at, he's got a nickname. He's got some sort of nickname for his flatulence because he farts all the time, and he told us that part of his move when he's working in the office is to fart in the elevator, leave the elevator, then wait for the person to get in, and he'll listen to hear them go, ugh, because apparently his farts are really rank. So I mean, it was a fun experience. There's nothing much to say about this. I just thought it was wild that that's his go-to move in the Uber as an Uber driver, as a good Uber driver.
5 stars.
When he actually has an issue. So I guess he's turning his life
Body
into
positivity.
his art in a way.
Well, this is I was going to say, I am sure that at a certain point this has come about because he's farted in the car and he's needed some kind of cover for it. Yeah. And he was like, oh no, this is a button that I can push to cause a funny thing happen in the back seat. Yeah. Look, it's a fake one. Here's one in your speaker, because he legit farted in the front and needed some way to get out of it.
100%. What was wild is that, I mean, this Tesla screens in the drive. It's a whole thing. He's literally showing us the types of fart. He's scrolling up, showing us what you want. A wet one?
I'm pretty sure. This might be apocryphal. I'm pretty sure that Tesla has a built-in fart.
It might be built.
I'm pretty sure that I read at some point that was like an Elon Musk thing where he wanted a farts in the Tesla, which
amazing.
Again, full circle, baby.
Brilliant. How could you hate Elon after that?